today we're going to repurpose old candles, because I have a lot of candles, because I really, really like candles. I used to work at a, I'm not going to say the name of the store, card shop, had candy that I was mostly allergic to, and had candles, and I'd be that weirdo in the back just huffing. So now, I'm the kind of person who buys a lot of candles, and conveniently, we make a lot of stinks. So Rob and I use a lot of candles. And we use them until they're almost gone, and then there's that last little bit of useless bullshit. So we're gonna take that and reuse it, remelt it, reform it into a new, improved candle. I don't know how these smells are gonna work together, they're all scented. Might be real bad.
We'll find out.
We're gonna see. It'll be fun. So this is a piece I've had for 1,000 years. And most of it is just empty. We're going to be moving it upstairs. So we have to empty out the rest, which is just these two bottom drawers, which are entirely filled with candles and crap. Mostly candles. And some of them are broken. And oh god, I can't get the door back in, oh no. So, yeah, both the drawers. And some of them are broken, not the drawers, that's just my problem. The drawers are fine. The candles in there, some of them are broken in half. So if we can reuse them, A+. We're going to need a can, preferably a metal can, like a coffee can, in order to catch the excess wax that we're going to reuse, to then melt it in a double boiler, all that. We need a can with, well, plenty to choose from. Can. Take that. Yeah, you're good. Okay. Okay, so here is what we'll need. A pot. Something to boil the water in. Really, we're going to boil it and then get it down to a simmer. You'll see. A coffee can. Or any tin can, I suppose. Something big enough to catch all the wax. And make it as naked as you possibly can. Tongs. Tongs, because this stuff will get hot. Tweezers or pliers, in this case, kind of heavy duty. This is so we can pull out the old wick, or what's left of it. The new wick can be made out of cotton thread, or in this case, it's actually a hemp. Either way, a cord. You might need to wax it, cover it in wax, before it actually becomes wick. But this will be the wick itself, not all of it, obviously. You'll see. We're using this to weight our wick down in the bottom. There are actual wicks you can buy, ready-made, but we didn't have that. We have this, so this is what we're using. A pencil and some tape just to hold the wick in the middle of the jar, up above, and have it not actually fall in. That's all this is for. Used candle. Almost entirely dead candle. If you're wondering why the top is all blackened, it's because we do what the label actually says not to do, and we use the cap to snuff it. It says not to do that, but clearly that's what we do. Oh well. And we have 3 that we're going to be using. Boom. Boom. That one, this one, it's actually way emptier than it looks. Other folks in my family used to make a lot of candles. So I actually don't know if this one was from my grandmother, or my sister, or my mother. Maybe an aunt. Someone in my family made this candle. And it's fun, because look what they used instead of a pencil. Straight up a stick. Very old school. I guess a pencil is technically still a stick of wood, but still. Fancy. I'm gonna find a way to incorporate this guy. Incorporate. He's incorporeal. He's a ghost. Get it? But yeah, I want to include him because that's sad. It's sad. He never got to know life as a candle. Afterlife. I was like, So, we're gonna reuse him. Make him into something new. And that's okay, because he's the same kind of wax that we're using in the other candles. That's the trick. If any of these were soy candles, including him, whoever was the soy would have to be separate. You know? Beeswax, soy, not same. There are other kinds of candles. And here we have the general order in which I would like to melt these candles to remake them into something new. If your jar has a stubborn label, you can soak it in some soapy water, and that'll help get it off. You might want to do it better than this. Sometimes the label will remain stubborn.
And you did most of this work. I'm just getting all the credit. Look how much label's gone now. Like a husband came along and disappeared it. Poof.
I saw you struggle.
You
I saw you struggle.
did.
I'm so short. You're so much taller.
Sorry.
I have like lifts my whole arm. I don't want it to get in though.
Yeah, just off to the side. This moves, so we can that.
Clever. I'm also not sure what to call
I think that's a really low bar on clever, but I'll take it.
I don't know what to call the end of, because there's wax up there too.
I think that's good, because it'll melt down. Once the stabilizing structure, that'll slide down.
And if nothing else, then we can pry it out.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Now we're gonna bring it to almost a boil and then bring it back down to a simmer. We're just gonna let it simmer in there.
Simmer?
Yeah.
Simmer down.
In fact, we could probably take out the jar for now and then put them back in.
I think this will allow everything to like melt down rather than introducing it hot.
That's fair.
So, we'll come back.
Yes. This is what we're using.
We're making our own wick.
You can buy wicks. And I even thought about maybe fishing the other one out and trying to reuse it, but that seems harder. So, this is what we're doing instead. And then the hope is that we're going to be able to sink it down and have it kind of do its thing.
Cool, cool.
Should I try to tie it over and make it more like centered?
Let's try.
See, Rob can see just by looking. I'm extremely short. So I have help.
You can see where it's peeling away from the sides of the glass already.
Now I can see. Yes. That's exciting.
It's happening. Okay.
And this will be the jar we're going to use. So we're just going to try to melt it directly in and pull it out.
Pull out the wick. There's my old coffee. Hello, morning coffee.
And we're going to try to place in the new wick, which will either work or it won't. If it doesn't, then at least we've waxed our string. And then we can try something else.
Well, that's hemp string, right? So it should work.
Yes.
As our research shows that hemp string is an appropriate string.
I just need it to sink down, is my point.
Yeah, but you want to avoid any strings that like flash burn and anything with dyes in it, because you don't know what the chemical is, right?
And how about this one? I think it's in, but who knows?
Oh, we're almost at boiling, so
Simmer.
simmer it down.
Simmer down.
That black band is where the wax is falling away. It'll heat the glass too, so the stuff stuck on the side should slide down. You can see we're not really worried about the residue on the side because it's coming right off. So I'm just folding down.
And we do have the option of just taking it out anyway. Like just the whole...
Yeah, we could, at this point there's purple in there, but we want to keep most of this at the bottom level. Because we're doing French vanilla. Wait, French vanilla's not the middle? I thought we were going left.
I made decisions.
Okay.
I made decisions. But...
It's going to be some weird flavor combinations then.
Yes, we've already been through that. But... My concern is just that we need to be able to get to the very bottom of all of it.
Yep, and we're almost there. It's about halfway. If I dunk this in, I can feel where it turns solid again. Solider.
Can you scoop out the wick from there?
Not quite. It's still kind of in there. The wick, like I can lift the whole thing out a little bit, but I'm just trying to get trying to fold over the edges so they melt better. And I just end up spinning it.
We don't want to bury the wick and make it harder, though.
No. So we'll just let that do that thing.
Yeah.
Success. With minimal splashing.
Yay! Okay. So we kind of need the rest of it to melt just to put the thing in.
That's true. But now we know the other metal bits out.
Yeah.
You can save this, burn off the wick, and then you have something for your next candle.
I mean, we could potentially use it for this one if we wanted to.
That's true.
What
I
do you
don't want
think?
to.
Alright then.
It's safer.
Safer than the tongs?
You ready with the wick?
Yes. Okay, so...
There goes the wick.
Is it sinking?
Yeah. It's at the bottom.
Haha! Ha 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 ha!
There was a lot more candle in there. That ended up being like a third full. More than.
Alright then. So, now we let this sit for a minute.
Let's do science.
But in the meantime... No. Where are you putting us? Where are you doing? Oh, okay. Okay.
Thin layer.
Thin layer.
This one might float.
And that'll be fun, I realize, getting it out of the can because it's got a lip in there.
Oh, we should have made a spigot. Hold on, I got tin snips.
You got tin snips?
Tin snips.
We're gonna wind up cut. There's gonna be blood.
Good. Yep. Yeah, I'll take it out. To help us pour, I'm going to snip in. Yeah, it's already warm, so. That looks awful.
Just has to be functional.
There. So
Functional. Yeah.
So it'll pour out of there instead of spreading around the hole.
Again, team, as we say, not as we do.
We're learning as we go, and you're watching us fuck up.
Rob's decided to do a science.
Well, this isn't solidifying as fast as this is liquefying, and we don't want to waste energy or time, so I'm going to make an ice bath. And, science tip, you can make your ice bath colder. Ah, it's just going. You can make your ice bath colder by adding salt. Salt water has a lower freezing temperature, so it'll actually get colder than water is supposed to.
Okay, we also don't want the glass to crack.
Well,
Just throwing that one out there.
I don't think that's going to be that severe of a temperature change.
Okay. I guess. We'll see.
Status update. Thanks to the cold water bath, the vanilla part of the candle is opaquing rather nicely, although it is still very liquidy on top. The edges have started, so that'll start moving towards the center. And over on the stove, we've got some older white Halloween candles that we're melting down to create a layer of white that will go on top of the vanilla, and on top of that goes the pumpkin. So it'll burn through the pumpkin, there'll be a layer of unscented, and then it'll transition to vanilla. Maybe, if we're lucky, the pumpkin and vanilla will mix a little bit.
I hope they're all the same kind of candle, because it occurs to me that I really don't know. I just know that they're not soy.
That's, yeah, sure.
But, like, beeswax and soy, what other kinds of candles are there?
So far nothing's exploded, so...
What other kinds of candles are there?
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? There's what remains of a pumpkin. There was a ghost in there too. I think that's one of his eyes floating. He's not ready for the tongs yet. Stop tonging. Stop. You're being silly. You're being silly. We're doing serious candle work. This is magic.
This is why you do all the cooking.
one of the reasons, yes. Also, I hate doing dishes So,
I do.
as long as you do all the dishes, I don't mind doing all the cooking.
Of course, we don't have a food maker. We do have a dishwasher. So, there is that.
There is that. But I hate even loading the dishwasher. I would rather cook for an hour than load the dishwasher for 10 minutes.
Alright. So, what next?
We're waiting on this to solidify because we don't want them to mix necessarily.
I don't know if I care.
Are we done carrying?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is all. Well, we still have to wait for this to liquid. So
Okay.
I will get out the.
Bang.
I have the camera righty, so I'll have to do this lefty. We'll see if that becomes a tragedy. I want to get these wicks out. Trying to be good at something while also videotaping it.
I believe in you.
I believe in a thing called love. You're gonna get us copyright striked.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have decided that we're done with this shit already. We still have another whole 2 candles to go. But this
Let's
is
see what
liquefied.
happens.
This is still. We're gonna see if they merge.
It's
Wait.
science. You sure you don't want to try the tongs?
What? The tongs?
Bong.
No, I have the pliers.
You could use the tongue to like stabilize.
Ready? Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun to clean up. 10 snips.
Next.
Towards the middle. Just floating a little bit since we it's a more muted vanilla, but I don't know whether that's because we added in the extra wax or if it's just because I've been smelling vanilla from boiling wax for an hour.
I'm okay with it being more muted because it was pretty strong.
It was very strong.
I'm
For a small room,
surprised.
it took over. You could only really light it for like 10 minutes and then you get a headache.
I'm surprised that it's still sniffy through the new layer of other
No,
crap.
it's very sniffy.
Very sniffy.
It's very sniffy.
Quite sniff.
It's definitely a sweet vanilla.
Other tart vanilla? Like what?
Well, like there's the vanilla, like it's a vanilla and sugar smell.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So it's not
Like
it's
a
not
cookie.
just vanilla like you get from vanilla extract. It smells like a sugar cookie. Yeah.
Right. Alright. You're making sense.
Yeah. Whenever it gets towards the edge, it gets bubbly.
Hmm.
Nah, and feel like a bad witch. No, stay in the cauldron. All my newts are escaping. No!
You right there?
No! My newts escaped. Didn't you hear me? It's a little filmy on top, but we are once again past the point of carrying. We have another candle to get through. So we're just gonna...
Yeah, I'm just gonna zoom but be away. Woo! Woo!
All of it. All of it.
Yeah. For the separate purple candle. This one.
We're gonna do
The other way around. Because we're gonna start with the American. And then we'll add this little bit on top.
So this we saved one of the old wicks from one of the recycled candles, and we're just going to place that in the bottom, and we're going to pour the wax around it because we don't have to fish out a wick this time.
You want to get the pencil?
We'll have the pencil. I'm not going to touch it right now because it's probably still very hot. It just came off the boiler. I'm just showing the folks this is what we're going to do.
So exciting.
Hey, you can probably just prop it with another wick.
Touche. I rescind my touche.
You can't rescind a touche.
Why not?
I already got the point. Point to me. Ah!
Floppy.
Yes.
Floppy point.
You smart butt.
Me or the wick?
You.
Oh.
You got the smart butt. Melting our assorted candles together, guys. This very, very beautiful. I hope the color comes through. It's like a very blue purple. Hope that color sticks when it reforms. Alright.
You ready for the pour?
I'm ready for the pour. Are you ready for the pour?
I'm ready for the pour.
Here comes the pour.
Woo!
Oh, going down. It's too much weight. Good thing we have those tin snips.
Oh, the tin snips.
But oh, that is a fun blue.
That is a fun blue. It's a much smaller candle than the other one.
Yeah. Well, our original thought was that all of this would go in one candle, and that's not happening.
No.
I really like the candy corn effect that we got here.
Candy corn candle.
It's candy corn candle.
Candy corn candle.
Say it 5 times fast.
No.
Candy corn candle. 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 I almost made it. But yeah, that's a fun blue, and then the lavender on top. So we just let these cool now, and we've got 1.5 brand new candles from like 8 discarded candles, or near discarded candles.
Broken and sad.
Broken and old and missing wicks and that last little bit of the jar, and now they're refreshed. They have a whole new life.
Yeah. Okay. They aren't the prettiest candles in the world, but you know what? For a first time, not bad.
Welcome to Becca's creepy candelabra crafting corner.
No.
This is your host, Becca.
No.
Ooh.
And most of the audience is going to know me as Rowyn anyway.
That's true.
There are a few people who have read my one children's book and they know my other name. No one else.
Your secret name. I told them.
My real name is my secret name. That's sad.
I told them how to bind you. They can now summon you.
No one wants to do that.
I wanted to
No
do
one wants
that.
to. Hey, team.
Becca? What's the worst that can happen, Becca?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do they work? Test them.
They do. I am testing. This one's more hardcore.
Well, I think... That illustrates how often you're actually in the kitchen. That you just thought the tongs were just like the most useless little broken, like, oh, it goes from an inch to half
I
inch.
thought they were more industrial and now they're terrifying and I can't use them.
So now you know that they work.